It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. Whenever you listen, hope you're doing all right. Got a busy show scheduled for you today, or maybe not, because today's Friday, and you guys get to drive the show. So as long as you're calling in, I'll stick around. If not, I get to leave a little early during this short week of ours. Today's show is being brought to us in part by BoxingBrainHealth.com. Check it out, www.boxingbrainhealth.com, or you can visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the green Boxing Brain Health banner, which is on the left-hand side. What is Boxing Brain Health? Well, it's not just for boxing. It's for any brain. If you got some brain, you need Boxing Brain Health. And see what I'm talking about. Check it out. Read the testimonials. Watch the video clip. Find out why it's the only patented brain-specific vitamin supplement on the market today. Now, I said that was a big tongueful, right? Big mouthful, big tongue twister there. Well, thanks to Boxing Brain Health, I've been taking it every day, and I feel a lot more alert and a lot smarter, too. I feel a whole lot smarter. No, all kidding aside, I feel a little silly, I'll tell you that. No, all kidding aside, check this stuff out. Makes you alert. When I just recently drove to St. Simon's, felt great. You know, hey, I could drive another 19 hours, no problem. Check out what I'm talking about, and I think you'll be amazed, and you'll be sold, and you'll get yourself some. www.boxingbrainhealth.com. And today's show is also being brought to us in part by the Southern Gourmet Spice Company. If you're looking for a unique spice that makes everything just tastes so much better, check out Kenny Bear's Barbecue Rub. It's not just for barbecue. I like it on pizza and everything, man. I'm telling you, it's some good stuff. Get yourself a bottle. Visit southerngourmetspice.com or visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click on the Southern Gourmet Spice banner, which is right there on the right-hand side. And today's show, I mentioned Billy C and tell him you get 2 for 1 today. If you order it between today and Monday, you get 2 for 1. So whatever size bottle you get, you're getting 2 for 1 for the price of 1. 2 for the price of 1. Yeah. And today's show is also being brought to us in part by, you got it, man, my book, Tom Molineaux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet. The story of Tom Molineaux. He was born a slave and fought for his freedom and went to rags, to riches. Back to rags. But check it out. Important part of not only boxing history, but American history and American black history, or black American history, however you want to look at it. It's a book that you got to read. It's not just for boxing fans. And see what the big hubbub is about. Now, you can get a copy of the book, Tom Molineaux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, where all good books are sold. You can get it right now as we speak. I'm talking right now. I mean, take your mouse and go to www.amazon.com or barnesandnoble.com and get yourself a copy now. If you're looking to get a signed copy, well, then visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and go into the book club section and get yourself a signed copy right in there. Now, as you know, today we're going to open up the phone lines here in about 5-6 minutes. I got some emails to read. I do have some news I want to go over. And then the show is in your hands, man. We got some fights scheduled for this weekend, specifically the big fight, Terence Crawford against Derry Jean. I'm interested in that fight. I think Terence Crawford is an upper echelon fighter, way better than Derry Jean. But It's an interesting fight. Gene is the type of fighter that you can't fall asleep on. Chris Eubank Jr. against Tony Jeter, another decent fight. Zach Dunn is going to be fighting here in New York against a tough guy, despite his record, Derek Findlay, and some other decent fights on tap for this weekend. So if you want to talk about that, or even the Triple G David Lemieux fight, I know Alex Papali is going to give us a shout in a little bit and give us his thoughts, and so will Dax Khan, and hopefully you guys too. I think it's a huge fight. I got some news on the pay-per-view. I also got an update on the fight I talked about yesterday, Bryant Jennings against Luis Ortiz, happening in December. But let's get this show started with some emails. This first one is from my man, Jesse. He says, "Hey, Billy C, my prayers and thoughts are with Pritchard Colon. Pritchard Colon's career might be over, but he can continue to have a productive life with his family. Billy, I notice fighters who have gone on a coma, maybe he means gone into a coma for headshots. During those fights, they have a blank look on their face. People in the fight game need to notice these signs before they send them out there like that." What's your thoughts? Yeah, there's a reason why there's a ringside physician at fights. After listening to Dax's thorough report, round by round and punch by punch yesterday, and incidentally, if you're just tuning in, if you want to hear that, it's up on YouTube. It's also under Dax's column on BillyCBoxing.com, just the stats that Dax gave us yesterday. One of the reasons I think that a ringside physician is there is to obviously, for the safety of the fighters and maybe anybody else that's around the ring that might need the assistance of a doctor in an emergency situation. The sport of boxing has EMTs on site and all of these things. My point yesterday when I asked Dax about the doctor. Now, again, this is where the strength of a good commission comes into play. I know, and I speak on my own experience from the state of New York and the state of New Jersey and Nevada and California. The doctors that are ringside are neuro-based doctors. Their specialty is in the awareness and treatment of head injuries of all different kinds. And, who better would recognize the signs than those guys? I just hope it's not a GP that's, waiting for a referral tag to send them to somebody else. Those are the guys that shouldn't be ringside. I don't know what the case was in Virginia, but I do know this: the doctor didn't notice the signs. The dizzy. Once a fighter says "I'm dizzy," it's over. That's a sign of a concussion. You can't send any athlete back out onto their field of play if they're concussed. You can't do it. I mean, if we've learned anything in sports, that's an important thing. So I think as much as Dax was able to prove and point out some F-ups by the referee, Joseph Cooper, I think the doctor has, some should be held accountable as well. And nothing for nothing, but the corners of the fighters, specifically Pritchard Colon. Now, at first I thought that they were cutting the gloves off because they noticed a problem with their fighter. That's what I like to see. I would have liked to have that be the 100% case, that they saw it and they said, forget it. If the doctor's not going to stop it, the ref's not going to stop it, we're going to stop it. We're going to look out for our benefit and well-being of our fighters. That's what I would like to think. And I asked Dax that. And when he said that they were about to put the gloves back on, that gives me some reasonable doubt to wonder if they didn't just mess up with the time. So, as much as I don't want to point any blame to anyone that was part of Team Pritchard Cologne. I believe that there's three people that really should be accountable, and it's the ringside doctor, the referee, and Pritchard Cologne's corner. And then out of when you blanket that all together, it falls on the shoulders of the Virginia Boxing Commission. So. Like Larry says, and a lot of other people in the know, say it's better to stop a fight too soon than stop a fight too late. If you stop a fight too soon, you might get some backlash and complaints from fans and fighters, et cetera, but the fighter goes on to fight another day. You stop a fight too late, and unfortunately, we see what happens. So, that's my thoughts. As far as Jesse being able to see a blank look from his television set, that gives me even more reason to believe that there was an unqualified doctor ringside. Now, I will say this, and this is my opinion, that I'm saying an unqualified doctor. Now, Gary Digital Williams, who is a writer that I'm sure you guys heard of, he covers that scene, that Washington, Virginia scene. And he said, actually, it was brought to my attention. I don't normally look at, messages other than emails to me. But this was forwarded to me by one of our guys that Gary Digital Williams wanted to make a point that the doctors were normally the doctors that were there were good, but I'm just passing that along because it's information that I was given, and I want to have I don't want to just bash somebody without anything else. And honestly, I don't know the doctor. I don't know what he specializes in. I don't know how he got appointed. I don't know any of that. All I'm saying is that generally, I believe that any ringside physician, their specialty should be with head trauma, with cuts, with something related to what they're there for. I'm dizzy, doc, means that the fight is over. It's the same thing. I can't see in my right eye, doc, but I can see fine in my left eye. Let me continue. No, the fight's over. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about, let's say there's a cut. And a doctor comes over to a fighter and says, "Hey, can you see?" And the fighter says, "No, but I want to continue." And the doctor says, "Okay." This is what we're talking about. We're talking about a fighter that tells the doctor he's dizzy, but he wants to continue, and the doctor says, "Okay." So make your own judgment on that one. Thanks for the email, Jesse. I got another one here. This one's from Devin from Bombay, India. I love getting correspondence from around the world, and I appreciate the support from all you guys. So I'm glad you keep listening. As we are starting, before I read the email, this show is 12 years old. We're in our 12th year. Specifically, we're on the radio most of our time, and on the TV station. We did start on the internet, but we kind of tailed off the internet a little bit and focused on the radio and the podcast. Well, over the last couple of years, we're kind of really diving into the internet world, and we're finding finally. I was always talking that I wasn't crazy about the YouTube situation, but as I'm going on and I'm getting to know the YouTube audience a little better, I like it, and we're glad that we have that audience. So give a shout out to them. Anyway, Devin says, thanks for answering my question about Canelo. I had a follow-up. What happens if Canelo wins against Cotto and begins negotiations with Triple G, but they can't agree on the weight or any other terms of the fight, like a rehydration limit or a split of the money, etc.? Well, that's going to be in the WBC's hands. Personally, I think the driver here should be Triple G. And by the way, Suleiman was hugging and kissing Triple G. I think they'll make it happen. But anyway, he says, by the way, I think Kovalev beats Ward too, and I do not want to see Pacquiao fight Matisse. He needs to fight someone like Khan. I don't hate the Matisse fight. I would rather see him fight Khan. But anyway, I got another email. I got some news I want to talk about. But first, on the line right now, I got my man, Alex Papali. What's up, brother?
Hey, Billy C., how are you doing this Friday evening?
I'm doing good, man. I do know that winter is here, and I realize that the older I get, the quicker I succumb to the cold. I just can't take it, man. I mean, it's not even it's a spit in the ocean compared to what I'm about to receive in the next month or so, and further. But just that chill in the air makes me go, oh no, I got another 4 or 5 months of this, you know. So I'm not happy.
I hear you. You could really feel it in your bones. But I got to say though, this is my favorite time of year. I mean, I think you guys up in upstate New York are plunged past fall a lot quicker than we are. Today is one of those beautiful, crisp, golden fall days. Oh, I just love it.
I do too.
You know, I mean, the trees are all looking great right now, and Alex loves Halloween. It's that time of year, you know.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love this time of year too. It's just that at night when it goes from being beautiful, it goes from being beautiful, crisp in the 50s to 30, 26, and it's like whoa, what happened? You know, I mean, it's too much of a range. But anyway, now that we're talking weather with Billy C and Alex P,
and next I'm a Farmer's Almanac.
Right? Hey, I'll tell you what, that Farmer's Almanac is dead nuts accurate. I got turned onto that probably, I don't know, 15 years ago, and every year I get one, and I'm amazed at how accurate they are. I mean, they called this whole month of October, they called to the T. I mean, they're more accurate than the news guy in the morning with Doppler. You know, I mean, I just don't get it. You know, so it's crazy. But Triple G, David Lemieux, this past weekend, I know we didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday, but or the day before actually. But I loved it, Alex. I'm going to talk about the pay-per-view. The pay-per-views didn't come up to what I thought they would. I actually thought they would do 500,000. And I thought that because it sold out so quickly and the interest level and all of it was so high, and then they get 150,000. But I got news for you. I thought that fight was worth every penny. What was your thoughts on the fight, the outcome, Lemieux, where he goes from there, all of that stuff?
I did not see the whole card. I did watch because I was at the Mohegan Sun fights, but I did so I didn't get to see it live. So I didn't see the Luis Ortiz fight at all. I have only seen clips of Chocolatito. I'm really looking forward to that. I've read about the whole card, and I did watch. I found Golovkin Lemieux on YouTube and watched it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I didn't think it was that competitive. I thought it was kind of what we expected. Lemieux, a lot of guts, and he just was outgunned. I kind of thought that this fight looked on paper kind of like King Kong versus Godzilla, which you think, wow, that's going to be a great matchup. But then if you think about it for a little bit, you're like, well, wait a minute. Godzilla is he's like 3 or 4 times the size of King Kong. He's going to thrash King Kong. And that's, Godzilla is the Golovkin role, and I think that's exactly what we saw. Lemieux definitely had a couple of good rounds. I thought he looked great in the 5th and the 6th. I almost thought he won that round, but the thing about Triple G is he kind of has that sort of Eric Morales quality that one of the worst things you could do is slug with him. Because if you nail him, he's going to come right back even more. Eric Morales, his whole career was like that. If you caught him, oh boy, he would just take it automatically, like reflexively fire 3 shots at you. Golovkin kind of is like that. And that's one of the things that I think kind of what you and Larry were talking about yesterday. It was refreshing. Not to bash Floyd, but I'm going to. Triple G can counterpunch too, but he counterpunches the way Evander Holyfield counterpunched, where, he's firing while you're firing. And he's not using as much distance. He's right in there and engaging. So the fight, there's a lot more action. And I think the thing that was also impressive, and I mean, I've talked about this a lot, I envision someday Kovalev and Golovkin being a super fight. One of the things I liked that Golovkin did that we see also from Kovalev is just, wow, the jab, just the basic boxing stuff. At one point, Lampley, who was fawning all over Golovkin all night, at one point he said something, I forget what it was, Golovkin was throwing 3 times the middleweight average for jabs, 5 times the middleweight average for jabs. It just was impressive, and that much pressure, I could hear, I see what Sal Sanicola was saying, how you almost could see something in Lemieux's eyes sort of wilt, where he was like, oh boy, this is too much of a hill to climb tonight.
First of all, you know what I wanted to tell you before I talk about Triple G. They have a Comic Con event here in Saratoga, which is about a half hour south of me. I was thinking of you. They're promoting it, and they got all the that's turned into like a real, hot chick magnet type of thing. I mean, they're all dressed crazy. I mean, from the first year you ever showed me, and it just seems to be getting even more crazy. I got to go to one of these, man.
Yeah, it's funny how it has cosplay chicks have become like a real popular thing.
I'm a dirty old man. I gotta go. I gotta go at least drool over some of them. But anyway, as far as Triple G is concerned, you make a great point. And everybody wants to talk about Floyd and everything, and sweet science. Well, Larry Hazard said it best the other day. He said that the sweet science is what Triple G did. Triple G went in there and surgically broke down David Lemieux. He put the shots together. He hurt this guy. He broke him down and finished him off. That is what the sweet science is. Not pitter-patting and running and hitting and running back. I mean, nobody's ever beaten up and dismantled when they fight Floyd Mayweather. They may be dominated. They may not, win a round, but they're not broken. They're not mentally and physically broken, and that's what Triple G does. And I agree with Larry that is what the sweet science is. He was like a surgeon in there, and you're right. This is a guy that never takes a step backwards, even when he's being hit. So if you're fighting him and you're trying to establish your game plan, and you try to open up an assault on this guy with an offensive attack, and here he takes a punch, and next thing you know, you're on your back foot. He's got your offense becomes defense. I counted 3 times in the whole fight that he actually took a step back. 3 times in a fight. I mean, why it's so hard for people to give this guy credit, I just don't get it, Alex.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he does a lot of things that are that show he has very
ring generalship,
a rich set of skills. And you're right. That's one of the big ones is his footwork. I mean, he's always so well balanced. I think that's why he punches so hard, and why already when there's rumors that when he's sparred with Kovalev, he punches above his weight. We talk about guys like that in the past who had that ability. A lot of it had to do like a Jack Dillon type guy who can hit real hard, and a lot of it is balance and angles. And Triple G can do that. He can step just to the side enough so he can shoot a shot down the pipe and nail you, and your shot is going to kind of brush past him. And they even showed a replay of where there was, I think it was in the 2nd or 3rd round when they threw simultaneous left hooks, and Lemieux's got there, but Golovkin's glove was up, and that's where you get the muscle memory. It shows you he practices and maintains strict form in training, so that hand's up there, and when he takes a counterpunch, he blocks it, but his punch gets in on Lemieux. It was, he's impressive to watch. I mean, I think that's what I heard that I can't remember now who did, but there was a few people who were talking about just he looked that good that he should be higher on the pound for pound, that mythical list than Kovalev. I disagree because I think Kovalev has more, bigger names on his record at this point. But Golovkin's fighting everyone. It's just that, until he beats Canelo, the winner of Canelo and Cotto, he's sort of relegated to these bold guys who don't have a shot.
Well, first of all, the pound for pound, mythical rating, the way I look at it is that you take your skill set at whatever weight class you fight. And that's why it's not for the heavyweight. The heavyweight is already supposed to be the baddest man on the planet. So whoever's that guy, so it's for every other weight class. This is just my opinion. And then
I agree with you on that.
And you take the guy that you're talking about, and then you move him up and down in weight with the same limitations, but you let him carry his skill set. So if you take a Triple G and you give him his punching power, you give him his ring savvy, his ring generalship, his power, his jab, all of those things, and you move him into a light heavyweight or you move him down to a flyweight, I agree that he is still going to be a dominating factor. As far as him and Kovalev, Triple G is not a big middleweight. It just bothers me when everybody wants to put him in already with the bigger guys, and I think he's on the small side. I think we saw that when he fought Gil. Gil was a small middleweight, and he was the same size as Triple G. Lemieux was an inch shorter, but his body was bigger, so I don't know. I think.
I still think that fight could be 2 or 3 years away. But there's already been stories of them sparring, and that Kovalev does not like it.
Well, the thing is remember, I forget how old Kovalev is, but Triple G's 33. So he's not going to be. I mean, you're talking, 3 or 4 years, and he's going to be done. I would think, but he's got the only problem I see with him is his chin, is the fact that not his chin is the fact that he could use a little more defense. He's got a solid chin. If anybody was questioning his chin, I think David Lemieux had to answer that for us because he did land a few good shots. And I think, as far as Lemieux goes, Alex, I don't think he lost anything. I think he gained a payday. He made $1.5 million for that fight. I don't think that his stock went down at all. As a matter of fact, it may have went up. And I have a feeling that those two's paths are going to cross again down the road.
Yeah, they certainly could. They could fight again. I agree with you in the sense that he certainly did test his chin. I wonder how much of that Golovkin was sort of willing to let him, because we've seen him do that with Monroe. I think he did let himself, because if you look at it, the 5th and 6th, by the end of those rounds, Lemieux was badly damaged as well. And those were the best rounds that Lemieux had. So, and it's one of those things, in order to land punches, you got to let yourself get hit. I think he exposed himself a little because he was like, I'm going to take this guy out. I don't know, because, fighters always fight when they're, when we're talking on the real upper echelon of fighters, they fight to the level of their competition a lot of times. And especially when at the point where Golovkin, I thought he knew that he could take everything Lemieux had. But I do think that one of the things, I watched the post-fight you guys did with Carl King and with Sal, and I think that the stoppage, I see what you mean, that it did seem quick, but I think when you think of the accumulation of blows, he had taken so many heavy shots to the head, and he was the kind of guy who was going to fight back till the end. Until you had to literally peel him off the canvas. And I thought that, I don't know, especially in light of when we saw what Pritchard Colon happened, this is, when you're getting hit in the head, especially by a monster puncher like that, I wouldn't. I guess I'm okay with more stoppages looking like that one.
Yeah.
Where it's sort of a mercy stoppage, and you didn't get the guy staggering around count out. I don't know, because it does. I mean, I think Dax did a great job breaking down that fight yesterday. I watched it because I was in the car going to Mohegan Sun when that was on. It's just amazing how suddenly we're in a world where there's so much boxing on. You got to catch up.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing, right? As far as letting him hit him, I don't. I do know that he let Monroe hit him because Monroe wasn't hurting him. I'm not so sure he let Lemieux hit him. I give Lemieux credit for getting a couple of those shots in and testing the chin. But I don't, at this stage, I don't disagree with the stoppage because, in my opinion, Alex, the fight was over when he was dropped from the body shot. I think that he was not the same fighter after he got up from that. I'm talking about Lemieux. And it was a matter of time. And I think he was mentally and physically really busted up bad. And the stoppage, although it might have appeared early in the heat of watching it live with people all around you screaming and stuff like that. I was watching on a big screen. I felt like I was ringside. I look at it now a little differently. But as far as
I hear you, and I did want to say I didn't get to see Chocolatito at all, other than highlights, and what I saw was absolutely beautiful.
I was just
and I'm very excited that they're going to show that whole fight before the Crawford fight on Saturday.
Are they showing both or just the Chocolatito fight?
Yeah, I guess they are going to show them both.
Oh, good.
And I think that's the thing about it. And like you said, I agree with you that heavyweights. I mean, I don't know why I'm hooked on pound for pound tonight. I guess because it's Friday night. It's one of those things to argue about. It's the pound for pound thing. So I think you don't have to look far. And that's one of the things that is. You're right. It's sort of unfortunate it didn't sell more because Chocolatito beat a really worthy contender in his victory, and it was impressive as hell in what he did. He's the guy who is the best fighter in the sport right now, and I think that it's one of those things. The flyweights, they never get the credit.
Well, the thing is that I look at these fights, both of them, as on paper they looked good. We all knew, everyone was leaning towards Triple G beating Lemieux, and everyone leaning towards Roman Gonzalez beating Brian Viloria. But both opponents brought that what if, Viloria is extremely accomplished fighter, two division world champion, has been there, has had up and down career. I mean, if anyone was going to test Gonzalez, it was him. Lemieux was a power puncher, so yes, the results came out the way they were supposed to. And I give credit to the fighters for doing what they were supposed to do. There was no pussyfooting around. There was no doubt about it. Fights, they weren't total blowouts. When you watch the Gonzalez fight this week, you're going to see a guy, I don't know if he ever smiles. I mean, he's just so businesslike. Like I was saying to Larry yesterday, the guy brings he's the kind of fighter I love. The blue collar, bring your lunch pail and do what you got to do kind of a fighter. And I mean, he's just so, same as Triple G, he's just automatic. He's so fundamentally sound and he's so strong and he breaks his opponent down. I mean, and he looks bigger than what he really is in terms of weight. So I hope that the fans appreciate it and this guy gets the recognition that he should. And I think HBO thinks so. So that's that's our benefit.
One of the other things I think is just wonderful about Chocolatito is the punch selection. It reminds me of Rafael Marquez, where there's just he'll put a left hook and then a right hand and another left hook and double up shots, and it's just beautiful the way it's something very naturalistic. It's a poetry in motion, and at the same time being so brutal and so effective. And let's face it, that, like you said, like Larry was saying yesterday, that's why these guys. It's a little surprising the card didn't do better, because both these guys guarantee you're going to see something, and that's violence, and that's what boxing is part of what it's about. a major part, and that's one of the reasons why people love Ronda Rousey. Is you're guaranteed you're going to see someone get hurt, and that's what Triple G brings. That's what Chocolatito brings, and great fighters in the past bring that. Tito Trinidad, the ones that have been popular lately, De La Hoya, Tyson, of course.
I'm baffled by the pay-per-view buys and what the issue was there. And I'm trying to think. You got a new, somewhat of a new fan base, and you would think that they would be attracted to the fight. Then you have the diehard fan base who definitely was attracted to the fight. And no matter how you slice it, no matter which group you want to lean to, I still think the numbers are low. And I don't understand. I don't get it. And it can't be. You could say, well, nobody knows who Triple G is. Well, if that's the case, then how come every time he goes to a venue, he sells out? You can't get near the place. How come he's the guy that, most boxing fans talk about, and, aren't they buying it? Are the fans talking about it and waiting to watch it? Is it because of the world we're in today with the technology? I mean, Floyd Mayweather does, a million buys. And, you could argue the point that, 500,000, 800,000 of the people buying it are buying it to see him lose, and then the others are buying it to see him win. I mean, I can't see the interest in watching a Mayweather fight versus a Triple G fight. I mean, a Triple G fight's going to be exciting. You never know what you're going to get with Floyd. In most cases, they're totally anti-exciting.
Well, I think that could be part of what's going on here, is that there might be a slight backlash because, excuse me, let's face it, we saw it with the whole build-up to the Pacquiao-Mayweather. We're living in such a part as in time, not only in boxing, not only in politics in the U.S., but certainly in boxing as well. I think there is, because there are a lot, you see it all over the Internet, there's a lot of, inexplicable hate towards Triple G and his selection of opponents. There's certain guys that the fights can't be made or are hard to make because of the promotional allegiances, but fans seem to hold that against him as a person. At the same time, I think some of it is justified. Let's face it, HBO was so complimentary towards Lemieux for taking the fight. He took the fight because the money was great, because HBO wanted to make a good, the most competitive matchup they could that didn't have Canelo or Cotto in it or a Peter Quillen. But let's face it, do you think that any one of those guys is going to be a real problem for Triple G? I don't.
No.
So, the only ones that are really that are foreseeable as a dangerous opponent for Triple G are Ward and Kovalev. So you're going out of the division, like you said, which is something that, it's like, well, why are we doing that? He weighed 158 or whatever it was. Rehydrated, he is up to a light heavyweight, but you're right, he's still got growing to do and sort of to fight those other fights. The thing about it is that people blame him for the fact that there's not a lot of fights out there, and I think some of that's unfair. But I think the other thing is that will be interesting. Well, and think about this too, Bill. There's been a lot of pay-per-views this year. People might be tapped out. It's the fall. There's a lot of sports going on. Last weekend there was a lot of sports going on. So I think that could affect the numbers. What'll be interesting to see is what kind of numbers does HBO do on the replay on Saturday night, and that could be more. I bet those numbers will be pretty high.
Just one last thing. You're talking about the middleweight division, and you're right. The politics of the sport are preventing the big fights. I'm looking at the middleweight division as we have it on Billy C Boxing. And you got some good fights coming up with contenders, right? You got Daniel Jacobs and Peter Quinlan, number 3 and number 6. Quinlan's 3 and Jacobs is 6. theoretically, the winner of that fight would be a great fight with Triple G. But chances are that won't happen. But what could happen is the Andy Lee, Billy Joe Saunders fight. Again, two guys ranked in the top 10. The winner of that fight possibly fighting Triple G. Not that I think that they have a chance, because like you, I think he beats every single person in this division. And when you look at the super middleweight division, there's nobody in that division I can't see him beating. Maybe a good fight, Bado Jack, James DeGale, Arthur Abraham. And as far as Andre Ward, I agree that's really the best fight for him. But then again, we don't know where Andre Ward is going to fight. Last fight he fought was at light heavyweight. So
right.
There's so many. Who knows, and then you hear he backed out. He didn't want to fight. Well, you don't hear the whole story, he backed out. Maybe they offered him $1.50, it's unfortunate. I think the beauty of this and what I was hoping for, one of the reasons I had hoped for big pay-per-view numbers was that would have given and definitely told the story of what the fans want. And even though they're all talking about it, and like you said, the numbers this week are probably going to be good for the replay, I would have thought it would have been better for the overall scheme of things if the pay-per-view numbers were 300 to 500,000 versus 150,000.
Yeah, definitely. That would have been a good sign.
Hey, real quick, Alex,
right.
What's your thoughts on Terrence Crawford, Derry Jean? Does Jean have a chance?
I think, you got to give him a shot, but not much of one. I mean, I like Terrence Crawford to win a decision, lopsided decision. I think that that's what's one of the cool things about this card is that, and this is one of the reasons why I do like HBO, is that they're showing you the class of 3 divisions on Saturday night, and that's cool. 1 live and 2 replay, and that's pretty cool when you get to see that, because our sport, there's not a lot of organization in our sport, and a lot of the organization you get out of is seen in a card where you put a double header together or a triple header. In this case, I think that's one of the things that's cool about this Saturday night is you get to see 3 divisions, some of the best guys at those weight classes, and all guys that are considered top 5, top 10 pound for pound.
I just hope we don't have to listen to a whole another couple of hours of Roy Jones Jr. He was terrible. You were sick of Lampley, but Roy Jones, I mean, what's it going to take to give him the hook? I mean, I just can't. Listen, B.J. Flores as a fighter, I couldn't stand him. Paulie Malignaggi as a fighter, I couldn't stand him. But you know what? They're both way better than Roy Jones Jr. as ringside analysts.
I don't know. I think B.J. Really blew it this week. Today I watched the Pritchard Colon fight. And I thought that there was a lot of blame to go around there. And one of the things that I really couldn't believe, BJ, the infraction of punching a guy in the back of the head is far worse than hitting a guy low. So the idea that he took a point from Williams, that was a good idea to take a point from Williams for the blow to the back of the head. I think BJ was very wrong in not describing it that way, and that whole announcing team, I don't know, that's a whole other subject.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? They're so corporate. They all are. All of the networks are, and they're very biased. I agree. Generally, I mean, listen, you got to give, everybody has a bad night, but Roy has just, in my opinion anyway, just has been terrible for the last bunch of events. I mean, the thing I do like about Malignaggi and B.J. Flores generally is that they're telling you, they're talking about what's happening in front of them, and they're giving you, professional, analytical opinions on what could take place next. When Roy does that, it's always about Roy. Roy Jones Jr. He always refers back to himself, and this is a guy that still thinks he's relative in the active scheme of boxing. And I don't know.
I don't know. I guess I really didn't care for him when he was the greatest. Now I like him a lot more now. I respect him a lot more, and I know what you're talking about, where he talked about Montel Griffin and that fight. But he said, "We good now." That was funny. You're right. He does relate all his anything that happens to his own experience, but in part that's what the ex jock is there for.
Yeah, but when Paulie refers to something, he says, "When I fought so and so." When BJ refers, he says, "Well, in my fight with so and so." When Roy Jones refers to it, he says Roy Jones Jr. When Roy Jones Jr. fought so and so. It's like, well, wait a minute, you're friggin' Roy Jones Jr. So But anyway,
it's
Alex,
like it was that's why I love boxing. It's like everybody's got their own alter ego.
I
like
don't know,
talking about Batman.
But Roy, I mean, he actually orders 2 airplane tickets for him and his ego. He thinks there's really 2 of them. But anyway, Alex, I appreciate you giving us some time. I know we got cut short a little bit on Wednesday, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on the big fight, and we'll look forward to you. Actually, we won't be doing a show on Wednesday of next week, but I'll get with you on that, and we'll have you come on another day.
All right, sounds good, Billy.
All right, brother. Enjoy the replays and enjoy the Terrence Crawford fight this week. He's always fun to watch.
All right, thanks. You too.
All right, brother. Take care. That's Alex Papali. Check him out when we do our Blast from the Past. Phone line is open, 845-228-8710. I got another email here. This one's from Alex Mayweather. He says, hey, Billy C., my question, where would you rank Nicholas Walters pound for pound? To me, I think he deserves to be in the top 10, but I don't see many people putting him up there. Would love to see Walters and Vasily Lomachenko fight. Also, with so many boxers getting beat badly and put into comas and the possible deadly effects of boxing, is it possible for the boxers to come together and create a union to protect fighters in the past? Like always, love the show. Well, I think you mean to maybe have some kind of insurance thing for fighters that have already fought. That's a good possibility. As far as creating a union, I'm not so sure how that could work, right away, because with the union, you would have to get them all to join at once. I don't know if a union could work right now. I mean, it would be really hard. The other thing is, as far as Nicholas Walters, I love Nicholas Walters. I've been on the Nicholas Walters case for a long time. And, the thing is this, I just don't think he's got the I'm looking at our pound for pound. We don't have him in our top 10. I just don't think he's got the experience yet. He hasn't had that signature fight yet. He's had a couple of tough fights, but I don't know. Let's watch him. He's coming up soon. But thanks for the emails. Now we got my man Joel on the line right now. How you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling better. I got to say, I feel like a boxer who's always re-injuring the same thing, be it a hand, a leg. 10 months ago, I told you I sent you the photos of my leg. But I'm feeling all right, just staying at home because I'm still taking some pain meds, and it's not a good idea to be driving with that. I had a wedding on Sunday, but I had to unfortunately cancel. 2 good friends of mine, they're getting married, so I'm just relaxing. I'm trying to be positive. We got some boxing on this weekend. I really thought Alex had some great insight on Triple G, and I wanted to ask you right off the bat, I know this is a little far fetched. But you made a good point. There's a lot of guys that, may not have a chance against Triple G. I know he's coming off a loss, but he did mention he would come down to fight Arthur Abraham at 168. What do you think of the chance that maybe HBO could get Triple G versus Bernard Hopkins at 168? Could that be possible?
Of course it could be possible. 168. Listen, I think Triple G is a middleweight, if that. I just don't think he's big. But 168 against B-Hop, the way I look at weight classes is it's called a limit. So if you fight at 168 limit, if Triple G comes in at 162, so be it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't matter. I just can't stand when you say, okay, let's fight a 168-pound title, but we're going to have a weight limit of 164. I mean, that I don't like. That's exactly what Cotto and Canelo are doing. They're fighting.
I was just gonna ask you. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm gonna order that fight, and there's another question I got. I'm gonna try to belt out as many questions quickly as possible. I just think that's a great fight because Hopkins is a legend. You put it on regular HBO, not pay-per-view. Yes, I agree. I don't see Triple G being Mr. Political, Mr. Ego, Mr. Drama. I'll fight you, Bernard, but at a catch weight of 164.5 and 2/4, none of that. I know he would do that. I just think it'd be a good fight. It seems, I feel like I read yesterday that, Andy Lee was shooting down rumors of accepting a Triple G fight. And what's interesting is, I was dozing off yesterday during your show. Like I said, I'm not feeling well, but I did hear what you said, and the nerve that Canelo has to say I would only fight Triple G if I beat Cotto at a catchweight. Do you think that's going to kill the buy rate for that next month's pay-per-view? I mean, I'm sure a lot of fans are going to order it, but now that they know that the winner may not want to fight Triple G, I mean that's gonna hurt the impact of the buy rate. Do you think that?
Like I keep saying, when I saw Suleiman hugging and kissing Triple G, I mean, he was the first guy to congratulate him in the ring on Saturday. And you could, when you watch the replay this weekend, you can see it again. But listen, the WBC has a tendency to want to surround themselves with the best fighters that are available. And, Triple G's got their interim belt. He's the mandatory for the winner of the Cotto-Canelo fight. And I think that regardless of who wins, if they start negotiating and they're trying to negotiate a fight at 155, I think Team Triple G has a good argument to go to the WBC and say, listen, we're contending for your world middleweight title, and the middleweight limit is 160. If they want to come in at 155 because they feel comfortable, so be it. But we should be allowed to come in at 160. I don't think that Canelo or Cotto is going to be able to have the juice to force Triple G at 155. They may compromise and come up with something closer to 160, 158. But even that, I don't like. I think that every weight class, we have so many of them. We have so many weight classes. I mean, how could fighters have the balls to even request a catch weight within a weight class? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I think the fight will happen. I think it will happen at 160. And if not, I think the WBC will strip either Cotto or Canelo so that Triple G is the legitimate middleweight champ. That's what I think.
I mean, I feel that I agree with you on that. I think Canelo, is starting to get that Mayweather rhythm where he's got this ego. Hey, I'm Canelo. I'm the biggest Mexican star. The Suleimans live in Mexico. Maybe they'll appreciate and understand a fellow Mexican guy. All that BS. But I feel that truthfully, after hearing things like that, secretly, I feel like HBO is probably going to have to find a backup plan because after November, 21st, whoever wins, if it's Canelo or Cotto, and Max Kellerman asks them, do you want Triple G? And if they kind of, shoot down, well, I want to relax, with my family and, see what's next. It's going to be like them telling, the audience, the fans, HBO, everybody, hey, I don't really want this guy next. And HBO is going to have to, fish for somebody to fight Triple G because it seems that nobody wants to. I truly think if Canelo wins, he would definitely. I feel like if Cotto wins, he'll relinquish the belt because he will want nothing to do with Triple G. But with Canelo saying 155, like you said, Triple G is going to say no. You want to come in at 155? Be my guest. But there's a middleweight title. I'm the middleweight champ. I sold out the Garden, so on and so on. This fight's going to be at 160. You come in at whatever weight you want.
Well, I think that first of all, if somebody says, well, I want to take 6 months off and spend time with my family, I think you'll see the WBC invoke the champion in recess clause and immediately do that, and say, okay, well, you don't want to fight him, then fine. We're gonna put you champion in recess or champion in Murtai, and now Triple G's our champion, and he's gonna make a defense against so and so. If the fighter does not want to fight at 150. At 160. Then their option would be, okay, I won the middleweight title. Let's say Canelo wins. I won it. I beat Cotto. I don't want to fight at 160. I'm going to retire, or not retire. I'm going to relinquish my 160 and go for the junior middleweight. I mean, he's making it sound like he can't make the weight. This is a young kid that he weighed 167 the other day. For a fight that's 155, less than a month away. So I don't know. I think it's just a bargaining chip. And the thing is just like Andy Lee and Canelo, neither one of them should be talking about Triple G right now. They should be focusing on their next fight. Canelo's got to fight against Cotto. That has to happen first. And Andy Lee has to fight Billy Joe Saunders. So both of those guys need to concentrate on their fights that are coming up.
Well, I agree. I'm giving Andy Lee credit. He sometimes doesn't have the best chin. He's been knocked out once or twice or whatever. So be it. He's not a huge name, but I'll give the guy credit. At least he's, willing to fight Triple G at 160. No big, no argument, no, politics, no drama. It's just, hey, I'll fight you at 160. If he gets by Billy Joe Saunders, that may end up having to be a route that HBO is going to have to, have as a backup plan if Cotto Canelo doesn't want to spend doesn't want to spend time with their family. It just upsets me that these guys, like it goes back to what you talked about a couple weeks ago, that boxing isn't what it used to be. I want to take the easy way out. It's safety first. And you make a good point. Unfortunately, what happened to Pritchard Colon last weekend was horrible. But this is what you sign up for, and you need to know the dangers. And it's just not about that anymore. It's about protecting yourself and safety and getting the easiest opponent. It's not, and this is what hurts the real boxing fan.
Well, that's the problem. That some of these guys are, they're not even embarrassed about, ducking this one or not fighting that one. It's kind of sad, in my opinion, anyway. What's your thoughts on tonight's show, Mox? Is it worth watching? I'm going to be up because I got nothing else to do, and I've been going to sleep a little late since I got home from surgery. But I think it's worth watching with the Rob Brandt and Lewis Rose in Phoenix. I think that's a good card with those three fights, or no? Listen, they all look good on paper, and my hang up with Showtime, similar to the PBC, is that it's always showcase fights. If I think that the Rob Brandt Lewis Rose fight will be somewhat competitive. I think that one's worth watching. I'm not so sure about the Samuel Clarkson and Harvell fight, Laverne Harvell. And then isn't the Frankie Gomez fight? Isn't that one on there too?
No, that's actually the on Australia. That's the Golden Boy. Remember they moved from Fox to Forte.
Okay. So yeah, I like the Pitbull Gomez and Jorge Silva. That's going to be an interesting fight.
He missed weight. I think he came in at 149. This guy can't make weight. Frankie Gomez.
He came in at 149. I missed that.
Yeah, he missed weight. I saw Dan Rayfield's tweets on the ESPN boxing page because I can't get his tweets to my phone because he blocked me. But I saw that it said they made it to a catch weight of 149 or 150. Yeah, Jorge Silva came in at on the dot or a little below, whatever, around there. But Gomez blew it again. Who wants to put this guy in a card if he can't take it seriously?
No, he forfeits the money. It's not like they cancel the fight. It's not a title fight, so I don't know. Yeah, but I agree with you though. If he can't make weight, he's in the wrong weight class, right?
And exactly. And lastly, I got to say, very happy that I'm assuming it's the end of the year for HBO. They're ending it with the Luis Ortiz and Brian Jennings. Great fight. Wish it was on the undercard this Saturday. For whatever reason, now it's in December. I still love it, and I cannot wait for that fight because that is a great heavyweight fight, and I'm glad HBO is airing that.
Oh, I love that fight. Hopefully I'm going to be ringside for that fight. And I'll tell you what, Luis Ortiz, we got to call Alex, actually, and I called one of his early, it might have been his first fight here in the States when he came over from Cuba. And I don't see any improvement from back then all the way to now. And Brian Jennings is going to beat the snot out of him, So I'm glad. I'm glad that they're making that fight, and it seems awfully quick that Golden Boy is. There must be a reason why they're putting him in the ring so quickly. But if he does beat Jennings, he's going to catapult in the rankings. But I can't see it happening. Jennings is too good. Jennings is too good.
I agree.
You know,
I agree. You think Chris Eubank Jr. stops that Tony Jeter? I think that's how you say it. Tony Jeter within 4 rounds tomorrow. I mean, he's a Midwestern guy. He's from Maryland or something. I mean, I know it's his matchroom boxing debut. I feel like he's going to stomp this guy. He's almost 40 years old. He probably has more miles in him than that throughway.
Come on, man. Use your own material, buddy. Come on.
I'm sorry. I just love that. I love that. But I just think that I'm going to try to tune in because I got a UFC event on in the afternoon from Dublin, Ireland. I'm looking forward to that. But I might watch it out on the computer, and I think that's a blow-away fight. If Eubank could get better, I'd like to see him, maybe be a potential opponent for Triple G, but that's far off. But listen, buddy, I'll let you go. I really appreciate, your shout out to me yesterday about me getting better, and I really appreciate your concern. I'm glad to be home. Always enjoy listening to you. I hope you have a great weekend. Big game on Sunday with the Jets and the Pats. I'll be watching that. And, I hope what is the temperature there right now? What is it, like 40?
It's not quite 50, that's for sure. It's probably about 46 maybe. But the sun was out today, so that's a plus. Yeah. And there's no white stuff on the ground yet, so that's good too.
Yeah, give it. Don't speak too soon. You may tell me on Sunday. Yeah, I was watching the game and I saw snow.
Yeah.
But listen, thanks so much, buddy. I appreciate your time, and again, I really appreciate your concern for me while I was ailing, and I'm just glad to be home. And we'll reconvene next week after all this weekend of boxing. All right, buddy?
Sounds good, brother. Have a good one.
Take care. You too. Bye.
That's my man Joel. You can check him in the chat room. He's usually a fixture in there on BillyCBoxing.com. Now, I know a bunch of you guys were trying to call while we had Alex on and then subsequently Joel, but the phone line is open, 845-228-8710. I'm taking one caller at a time. Triple G's pay-per-view fight against David Lemieux. They're officially announcing that the numbers here in the U.S. were 150,000 buys, and the promoters said they made money. They made over $2 million in the gate, for the gate alone, and the 150,000 buys. The Triple G made $2 million for the fight. And David Lemieux made $1.5 million for the fight, and they also had the Gonzalez earned $250,000, and Brian Valora made $100,000. So when the smoke cleared, they made some money. I was off. I thought that the fight would do between $300,000 and $500,000. I was off, and I really felt that. They would have, but they didn't, and I'm a little surprised. But that it is what it is. But at least they made some money. We got somebody on the line right now. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Mike from Michigan.
Hey, Mike from Michigan. What's up, brother?
Hey, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for calling in. I was calling in a bunch of times when you were on the line, but my phone freezes up, and that's how I watch your show. So I can't tell, when the phone line's actually open because it freezes up and stops. So I want to apologize for nonstop calling you while you were probably talking to Alex and whatnot.
Well, when we see somebody else calling, it goes in the queue, so you don't have to apologize. But what's on your mind, brother?
So my mind, man, I loved the card last week, and you know what? You were talking about Roy Jones Jr., and I agree with you. He's getting worse, okay? He's progressively getting worse. However, he's kind of good with his boxing insight, I believe. And I don't know who they could replace him with because Andre Ward has the personality of a wet sock, and I don't ever like listening to him. And his boxing style is pretty much the same way. But regardless, I thought beyond the Montel Griffin BS that he was talking about, I didn't think he did that bad of a job this weekend. Can you pick out a spot where you think he did really bad beyond that?
I just, every time he refers to himself, and I honestly don't think that he gives that great insight. I think he baffles people with BS. Yeah, when Paulie, and I'm not a big fan of Paulie Malignaggi. It's just that when he does his ringside analyst, as a ringside analyst, he's right on. And so generally, I know BJ Flores had an off week this past weekend, but generally he's pretty accurate too. And it's like sometimes really great coaches weren't great players, some people, they do better as a coach or a manager or a trainer than they do, in the field of play. And that doesn't mean that if you're real good in the field of play, you can automatically make a good analyst, I get sick of the, third person thing. I think that bothers me the most. There was a time when, I thought Jim Lampley was ready to go, and he kind of made a little comeback too. But hey, you know what? It's hard to be real bad when you're watching a couple of really good fights.
Yeah, and you know what? I liked the fights. Oscar De La Hoya was interviewed after both of the fights, and he was asked, what fight did you like best? And who do you think should be number one pound for pound, Triple G or was it Roman Gonzalez is his name?
Yeah.
And he said Chocolatito. Instantly said that, and I disagree 100% because I saw Chocolatito hurt from a body shot in that fight. I saw him hit a hell of a lot more than Triple G got hit, and I saw better ring generalship from Triple G. I don't think there's anybody out there who could even be on Triple G's level, including Andre Ward. I think he's so good. I think Triple G is so good. He just controlled the entire fight, beat the hell out of Lemieux, and I give Lemieux a lot of credit for staying in there because, he got hit low and got up like a man and took it and immediately went right back to it. He, grimaced a little bit, and he was a little pissed off that he got hit low. Well, not low, but while he was on his knee. And but he got right up and took it like a man, and you got to give him credit for that, man, even though he was never in the fight.
No, I give him credit. I give him credit for taking the fight, no doubt. And as far as pound for pound, you can make a case for both guys. I agree. I don't think there's a fighter in boxing today that, including Floyd, that has better ring generalship than Triple G. He just controls the ring. He controls what his opponents are doing, and he does it any way he wants. He does it subtly. He does it blatantly. He can. He's totally in control. And Gonzalez is very similar. Gonzalez is in control too. He's like I said earlier, he's a bring your lunch pail to work, blue collar type fighter. I love him. I love both of those guys.
Yep. I just thought that Triple G impressed me a little more. I thought that Gonzalez had the harder opponent. However, you can't crap on Lemieux because he beat some pretty decent fighters to get to that spot.
Well, you can only fight you can only fight who's willing to get in the ring with you. And if this guy's not and that guy's not, you go down the line until you get the next best guy. And Lemieux was the guy, and he made a good penny. He made a $1.5 million for the fight. He's got nothing to be ashamed of his performance, and I think his value has gone up, not gone down. And I don't think he misses a beat. I think he'll get another opportunity. And to be honest with you, I think that Triple G and Lemieux will fight again someday.
You know what bothers me though? What bothers me is that Mayweather-Berto got 500,000 pay-per-view buys.
No, they didn't. They didn't get 500,000. They got 300,000.
Oh well, even so, that still irks me because I can't stand the guy, and I don't know how more people wouldn't be like a magnet to Triple G. He's everything you'd ever want in a fighter. Inside and outside the ring.
You know what the best thing you could do? You don't like Floyd so much? The best thing you could do is just everybody stop talking about him. Let's just good riddance, Floyd. I mean, let him.
Yeah.
The further we can get him away from boxing, the better. I mean, you don't want people to try to be like him. Because there's only one Floyd in terms of what he was able to accomplish inside the ring. And, his outside the ring antics, let him enjoy his life. See ya. Just stay away from boxing. Now let's focus on some new, young, exciting talent, and we'll see where it gets us,
Yeah, you want to know a secret, though? And this is a sad secret that I have to admit. I think if Triple G were to ever fight Floyd would win. Isn't that sad?
There's no way Floyd could be. First of all, Floyd doesn't have the balls to get in the ring with Triple
I know
G.
that.
He's too much of a pussy. He's the kind of guy that just won't do it. Floyd, the last decade has every fight has been calculated and everything. So Floyd doesn't have the balls. He doesn't scare anybody unless you're a woman. So I mean, the bottom line is he wouldn't. And if he did, which he wouldn't, Triple G would destroy him. There's no way that Floyd could run from Triple G for 12 rounds. There's no way. He would try. He's not going to hurt Triple G, and he could try and counterpunch. And you know what? I agree with you. He would land some punches, but Triple G will walk through him, and Triple G would knock out Floyd Mayweather. As a matter of fact, everyone tells Floyd, stay far away. Stephen A. Smith, one of Floyd's biggest supporters on ESPN, is saying, my advice to Floyd is don't go near Triple G. So, I mean, everybody that knows the sport knows that Triple G will beat the snot out of Floyd Mayweather. And for people that says, oh, well, Floyd's too small, that's such a crock of shit, too, because you know what, Mike?
I know that.
They're almost the same size. Maybe Floyd gives up a couple of pounds, but Sugar Ray Leonard did it. And Sugar Ray Leonard, that's why I think he was way better than Floyd Mayweather too. He came back and fought at the best middleweight out there in Marvin Hagler. So great fighters do great things. That's all.
Well, hey, I mean, Roberto Duran moved up division after division. He's probably still fighting. He's probably fighting cruiserweight right now in Panama somewhere.
Probably.
I mean, that's what you do. Andre Ward cleaned out his division and then stayed there and didn't do anything, and then complained and then was inactive. I mean, I don't even know if Andre Ward can land a solid punch right now.
No,
I have no idea.
Andre Ward, what has he done lately? I want to see him in a real fight, and I'm telling you right now that if he got in the ring for his next fight against Triple G knocks him out. He knocks him out. Now, I mean, if Andre Ward had a chance to fight a couple of more fights and got back to the level he was 5-6 years ago, then maybe I'll be singing a different tune. But right now, if they fought in their next fight each, Triple G knocks him out. End of story.
I agree, and I don't think there's anybody in boxing, including Kovalev, that'll beat Triple G. The only person that I see capable of beating Triple G is Floyd. And it sickens me to say that, but that's just what I feel.
Well, good. Tell Floyd that. Hopefully Floyd will grow the hairs on his little balls that he's got and get in the ring with him. And I think Kovalev is too big. I think Kovalev is just way too big for Triple G, but I'm sure that Triple G would fight him.
Yeah, but I've heard Abel Sanchez say, I had Kovalev in my gym sparring with Triple G, and when he was in there, he was apprehensive, and Triple G kind of had his way with him, and I tend to believe Abel Sanchez a little bit, and I can kind of see that a little bit, even though Kovalev is bigger. But regardless, I'll end the call so you can have someone else call. But that's all I wanted to say.
All right, brother. Have a great week and enjoy the fights this week.
All right, we'll do. You too. Thank you. Bye.
All right, that's my man Mike from Michigan. And, there's always three sides to every story. Kovalev's side, Triple G's side, or I should say Abel Sanchez's side, and then the truth, So it is what it is. Luis Ortiz, Bryant Jennings going to be fighting at the Turning Stone December 19th. I talked about it yesterday. The main event is going to be Nicholas Walters against Sosha as he moves up in weight. He's going to be fighting in a weight class above. So Nicholas Walters, it seems like they're getting him ready for some bigger and better things. As far as Jennings, Ortiz, I said earlier, bye-bye Jennings, going to say bye-bye to Ortiz in this fight. Luis Ortiz said, I think Jennings doesn't even know what he's stepping into on the 19th. He says, I'm coming to make a statement. This fight is going to be exciting. It's going to be a stepping stone to achieve my dream. Jennings says the world will see a great fight when I square off against Ortiz. That I guarantee you. I'll be driving back to Philly with the WBA belt. I never like to give what the promoters say because it's always just BS. But Gary Shaw, which is one of the biggest bullshit artists the sport of boxing has ever had a pretty cool line that I'm going to quote. He says, Ortiz has never faced a challenge of a Philly fighter like Bryant Jennings, and he's going to find out real quick that this is another level. Jennings is ready to continue his quest to become the heavyweight world champion. And he throws in that both sides agreed to VADA testing, which is his little way of doing a jab to Luis Ortiz, who tested positive and was suspended for 6 months. So, which really bothers me that he gets rewarded with all these opportunities. But on December 19th, in my opinion, his little reign is going to end. Joining us right now, Dax Khan. What's up, man?
I have to agree. I love that line from Gary Shaw.
Yeah, you got it right. I mean, normally I don't like to say much about with Gary, but you can't really complain about that. I mean, that's pretty accurate, right?
It definitely is. When you look at Luis Ortiz, is he any relation to Forrest Whitaker?
Why do you say that?
The actor?
Yeah, no.
When you look at him, doesn't he look just like Forrest Whitaker?
Sometimes, I guess, yeah. I mean, a little bit. He's got that same droopy eye, if that's what you're looking at. Yeah, something like that.
Just the whole face. So far, he's been, pretending to be a legitimate heavyweight, and
Maybe
Brian Jennings is going to give the answers to that.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is Jennings. He's one of those guys that people avoid like the plague. But. Anyway, so what was your thoughts on that fight? We never got to talk about. Oh, you have an update for us though on the Pritchard Cologne, yeah?
Oh yeah, things are still the same. Pritchard's, hopefully he gets better. In that terms, one important thing I spoke to you about before is, they're just, the family does have a GoFundMe account and going on for him. There are unfortunately sad. And this bothers me, is that, people are kind of taking advantage of the situation, and it never ceases to amaze me how low some people will go. There's a couple bogus GoFundMe accounts out there where people are trying to, make money off Pritchard's name. His family had let out a statement saying, there's only one account that is legitimate, and that's the account entitled The World with Pritchard Cologne, and his brother heads that up, Ricardo Colon Melendez. And, there's another one out there called Boxer Pritchard Cologne Medical Bills and the Pritchard Cologne Fund. Both of those are bogus. They're not legitimate. And unless you see, Ricardo Colon Melendez on that account, you can always go and contact him through Facebook. And there's also a Pray for Pritchard Facebook page, which is headed up by Michelle Rosado, the Region Babe. And, everybody there be more than happy to tell everybody, which one is and which one is not legitimate. Because some of these other accounts here, Bill, they've gotten a few $1,000s already, even by a couple world champion fighters, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a shame that there's people with that mindset in the world today, but unfortunately we gotta live with that. But yeah, that sucks. Well, great job yesterday, and incidentally, like I said earlier, if you guys want to listen to Dak's breakdown from yesterday's show, it's up on our YouTube channel. It's also up in Dax's column up on BillyCBoxing.com, just the breakdown, so check that out. Dax, what was your thoughts on the I know we didn't get a chance to even talk about the Triple G Lemieux fight. You have any thoughts on that, or did you want to talk about the Derry Jean fight, or I should say Terrence Crawford fight? I mean, what's your thoughts?
True. What is there not to love about that whole card? With Triple G, Chocolito Gonzalez, they both went in there against quality opponents. Make no mistake about it, David Lemieux was a dangerous opponent. He was a legitimate threat. Just because of his punching power alone. David Lemieux, has gotten better over the years. He's gotten better since his last loss when he had the two back-to-back losses. One after the other. He learned to move his head a little bit more. I did notice leading up to that fight, as you guys were speaking about yesterday, you and Larry and you and a few other people, the more fighters talk, And the more they talk about, other fighters being afraid and they see the fear in their eyes, that's something that David Lemieux mentioned quite a few times. I mean, one point in time, his exact quote was, "I've seen everything I need to know in Triple G's eyes when they had a face-off, the very first one." Now, after this fight here, you're saying to yourself, what did you see? Did you see that, he was about to get into your, what? Or, was it that... You seen that's the man you didn't want to face, and you kind of went in there with that Bruce Sullivan look.
Exactly.
But,
he didn't say exactly what he saw. What he saw was his future that didn't look too good, right?
Exactly. He didn't say exactly what he saw.
Right.
It was speculation.
Right, exactly. He didn't say, I saw fear in his eyes, I saw this, I saw that. He says, I saw all I needed to see. He went, oh, my God.
Everything I needed to know. I saw myself cashing a big check after that, and I saw myself getting beat from pillar to post.
Yep, and he says, I saw myself going, what the hell are you doing? But anyway.
But you know what really impressed me about that is the fact that we've seen a new dimension in Triple G. We've seen him go out there. He was more calculated and relaxed than he has. He's always a relaxed fighter. But in this fight, he was even more relaxed, and he worked behind that jab, and he does exactly what he wants to do in there. And he knew, at any point in time, David Lemieux could let his hands go, and he knew that. And, he was ready for that, and he broke him down slowly. And he forget about, what we've talked about and Larry's talked about. I think, Triple G went in there with the intent built to beat the will out of David Lemieux. And that's exactly how, you beat the will out of an opponent is, first of all, you let him know that you are the better fighter in there. And Triple G let that go from, opening bell with that jab. He established, I run the space in this ring. Wherever you go, I'm going to be in front of you. My jab is going to hit you. It's going to hurt you. I'm going to hit you often. And whenever I let my right hand go, I'm going to let you know I can land it whenever I feel like landing it. And that's exactly what he did all night long. And when you're in there with a guy, not only of that pedigree, but the power of Triple G, I don't care who you are, it's going to make you think. And he doesn't give you time to think. That's the impressive, that's what puts me in awe about him. He doesn't give you time to think. He's a hard guy to adjust against. And when you think you're about to make an adjustment, once he hits you, you get hit that hard, your brain kind of, everything just freezes up on you, and, there is no plan B. And if there is one, you're forgetting it. It's kind of like Billy C. after a few scotches. I have to spell his name backwards. I can't spell it forward.
That's right. I just spell C. But Triple G, he says, well, you go, I go. You go, I go. You go, I go. So, but you're right. He was... I thought he put on a great show, and I give David Lemieux a lot of credit. And I look forward to him in his next fight. What's your thoughts on Roman Gonzalez? I mean, it was similar to what Triple G did.
Oh, absolutely. Roman Gonzalez, because he's at a lower weight class, he's a little more busy in there, even though Triple G was very active for a middleweight. But Roman Gonzalez is the real deal. Brian Valoria world.
Did I lose you, Dax? I think we just lost Dax. We lost you, Dax. Apologize for that. It sounds like it looks like it was on Dax's end, so maybe he'll call back. But he's talking about Gonzalez. But in any event, the phone line is open, 845-228-8710. If you have any final thoughts, questions, comments. Otherwise, we get out of here a little early today. Don't know what happened to Dax, but looks like everything is seems to be okay. So we'll have to wait and see what takes place. As a matter of fact, maybe we are experiencing some issues with the phone system. I don't know. I apologize for that. But the bottom line, Terrence Crawford against Derry Jean, HBO. I was just made aware of the fact that they're replaying the Roman Gonzalez fight and also the Triple G fight this weekend as well. So that'll be a good thing to get caught up on. So if you didn't see it, find out what all the discussion is about, because you missed a good one.
Wake up, it's time for It's too early for a trivia question.
All right. Today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question is being brought to us by BoxingBrainHealth.com. Now, if you're looking to take care of yourself, and you don't have to be a boxer, you don't have to even be an athlete. You could be just a regular slob like me and want to increase your brain function, your alertness, your attentiveness, everything will be helped by taking one of these supplements every day. It's the only patented vitamin supplement geared specifically for your brain. Find out what I'm talking about by visiting the website www.boxingbrainhealth.com and order your supply today. Now, yesterday's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question was one that was hanging around for a while. The question was, who was the first fighter to have world title fights in 3 different decades? Well, finally, I got the correct answer, and my man Abdullah Sharifi knew that James Jeffries was the first one to do it. He won in the 1890s, the 1900s, and of course his final fight against Jack Johnson in the 1910s. So congratulations to my man Abdullah Sharifi, and I'm still waiting to get some information on him. So I can mail him some choices of some prizes, some great prizes to win. We got a trivia question that I wanted to get one more today. This one goes like this: what was the first televised fight from outside the United States to be shown in the United States? What was the first televised fight that was from outside the U.S. to be broadcast in the U.S.? If you're the first one to email me the correct answer, Billy@TalkinBoxing, that's TalkinBoxing.com, you'll win a choice of some great prizes. Good luck to everyone on that one.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being brought to us by my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet. It's out there right now where all good books are sold. You could pick up a copy of this book right now, and I'm talking about right now, by visiting Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. Now, if you want to get a signed copy, just visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and go up into the book club section, and you will get some instruction there. And it's a worthwhile book. I believe that everyone should read it, and it's not just because it's my book. It's a great story, and it's a part of history, boxing history, American history, and Black American history. Get yourself a copy or 2 or 10 today. On this day, October 23rd, in 1999, Marcus Beyer wins a 12-round decision over Richie Woodall to win the WBC World Super Middleweight title. It took place in England. On this day in 1962, Dick Tiger wins a 15-round decision over Gene Fulmer to win the NBA World Middleweight title. It took place in San Francisco. On this day in 1987, Sumbu Kalambe wins a 12-round decision over Iran Barkley to win the vacant WBA World Middleweight title. It took place in Italy. On this day in 1931, Lou Brouillard wins a 15-round decision over young Jack Thompson to win the World Welterweight title. It took place in Boston. On this day in 1999, Diego Corrales knocks out Roberto Garcia in the 7th round to win the IBF World Junior Lightweight title. It took place in Vegas. On this day in 1993, Junior Jones wins a 12-round decision over Elisier Julio to win the WBA World Bantamweight title. It took place in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And on this day in 1890, George Little Chocolate Dixon knocks out Johnny Murphy in the 40th round of a scheduled fight to the finish to retain his World Bantamweight title, and that took place in Providence, Rhode Island. These guys used 2-ounce gloves. 2-ounce gloves. It's like wearing a batting glove, 40-round fight to the finish was, in case you didn't know, a fight to the finish meant that the fight had to end by a knockout. So that's what took place on this day. I apologize for some of the technical problems we've been having this week, like dropping Dax just now and knocking our phone system out. But hey, we do our best, and we try. And I just want to thank the YouTube audience for sticking with us and us sticking with you, because I was real close to kicking that audience to the curb. But as we grow, and I'm starting to get to know the YouTube audience a little better, I'm liking it. So get interactive. Just if you are watching or listening on YouTube, remember, we will respond to every email you send, but you got to email us, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. The comments in those rooms don't get here. But, I meant to tell you guys this. I can't believe it. Don't forget to tune in Monday evening, same bad time, same bad channel. Until then, enjoy the fights this weekend. If you didn't see the Triple G Lemieux fight, you'll get to see it. All that stuff. Ciao, baby.